I think it's finally time to come out of hibernation. Life for me has changed drastically since my last update, and I've been keeping one of the biggest chapter transitions a secret this past winter. I've left the mountains, I've moved off the homestead towards the coast, and I'm also 6 months pregnant. Now that it's spring, I can't hide it anymore, and plus, I'm so excited to share the news. I've been quietly growing a new little family member, and I don't even know if there's a perfect word for what I've been feeling. If I'm being honest, I did not expect my life to change this quickly, and I think I have to reflect back a bit before moving forward to what's next. Before the mountains, my life was rooted in movement. I was living out of the van, drifting between state lines, learning how little I actually needed to feel whole. And I found a lot of freedom in that simplicity, in letting go of excess and learning to trust myself more. It was such an experimental time in my life, and I'm really grateful for it. Even now, those values are still very much a part of how I live. But then the opportunity arose to park for a stretch of seasons far from town in one place, to build something slower and more grounded, and I really leaned into that. After many nomadic years, this was actually an amazing chapter. Last spring, Jesse and I were in the very beginning stages of building a homestead up in these mountains. We were starting with all kinds of projects, gathering chickens and building their coop by hand. We were cleaning things up, working the land, planting seeds, and learning to be patient with the whole process. It felt like we were finally stepping into something we had both been meant for. And so, not that long ago, I was waking up to tend the flock, water the garden, and let all the animals free range out in nature. It was a really full and productive year. We learned so much along the way. The chickens began laying an abundance of eggs. We were starting to harvest from the garden and began to see that with time and effort, we could really start to shape our lifestyle into something intentional. Something that felt aligned with the kind of life we wanted to live. And then amongst it all, I found out the amazing news that I was pregnant. The two of us would become 3. We were so excited. That season became about so much more than just building a homestead. It was about preparing for the future, learning how to nurture something beyond ourselves, and we really started settling into this new concept of life, really rooting in. And in many ways, it truly was a dream. But sometimes dreams evolve, and sometimes we have to meet life where it is. Especially since it is just so short. There was a job offer far from the homestead we were sculpting that we couldn't decline. To be honest, looking back, it really did come at the right moment. And before the true winter hit, we packed everything up, winterized the homestead, and said goodbye to that life. We made our way to the coast, closer to family, closer to support, and into a completely different way of living. We found an apartment in the city, which has been an adjustment in its own way. And I think something I've been sitting with a lot is how to hold both gratitude and grief at the same time. Because I'm so deeply grateful for where I am. But there's also a small part of me that misses the version of life we had before. Though it was hard at times, there was independence, closeness to nature, and simplicity. But I'm learning that it's okay to feel both. I'm so thankful for my nomadic past of van life too, because being able to uproot quickly has brought me into a world that is almost completely opposite of what I was doing just a year ago. This season of life is asking something different of me. I'm still embracing a slower, more intentional way of living, learning how to create a home, caring for the people and life around me. But now, I'm preparing to become a mom, and that feels really exciting. I don't have everything mapped out right now, but I don't feel like I need to anymore. There's something about this season that feels right. And even though my life looks different than it did, the parts of me that love nature, simplicity, and that slower way of living, those aren't going anywhere. If anything, they feel even more important to me now. So this is the chapter I'm stepping into. It's new, a little unknown, but also really full in a different way. So thank you for being here and for sticking around through all the changes. I'm really excited for what's ahead. And yeah, all the ways that life will surprise me. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.